7:02 in the AM on Rabid Rabbit Farms. We're in December. That's day 5 of this playthrough. Starting with $120,000, which isn't too shabby. And since we're going into winter, we're going to have limited things that we can work on today. One of them is field 45, where I planted grass. Needs a second coat of fertilizer on one half, so I'm going to throw that on real quick at some point today. And then, according to the status, 46 and 52 are still showing harvested, even though 44 and 45 are showing growing. And I tried looking up why this would be the case, and it was suggested that rolling the fields may reset that status quicker, even though they will grow on their own without being replanted because they're grass, that you should roll them. So I grabbed my roller and went to it, but unfortunately didn't seem to change anything, at least using this particular roller, which is normally intended for fields after planting. So a little bit later, I'm going to try some of the other grass work stuff. But for the moment, I figured I'd move on to another task I can work on, which is tending to the greenhouses. I have them set to auto sell now, so I don't have to pick up the pallets and haul them to the store. So I'm taking the 35% penalty, transport fee penalty, to automatically have them sell. But it does save a little bit of work. And I'm not that great with the pallet forks yet, so probably best I just do that for now. At first I wanted to just get them all reloaded up to their full water level, so I was making runs here back and forth to the pond because that's free water, and it fills up fast. I didn't realize the difference between filling up at a pond and filling up at your own water supply until I tried it. So went ahead and bought myself a water tank. At first I thought I needed the little blue one. I guess that's just supposed to be an extension, but when I looked up what that's for, everyone said it doesn't work, so I didn't bother with that. This particular water tank you can fill from, but ooh, is it slow. It fills up incredibly slow compared to filling up at the pond. And it charges you. So each one of these 6,000 gallon fill-ups is costing me $600. So I like it because I'm lazy, and I'm using it because I bought it, and I believe in the sunk cost fallacy and falling victim to it. So I went ahead and used this to finish filling up the greenhouses all the way. But I think I'm going to go ahead and sell this water tank because I don't know that it's worth the convenience. Seeing as how I'm only getting a few $1,000s a day from the produce. And I realize I'm putting a lot more water in here. Like, I'm definitely going to make more money from the produce than I am from what I'm spending on the water, but I actually think I'd rather spend a little more money just getting a larger water tanker truck and going to the pond, or buying some land by the pond for my greenhouses. So with the greenhouses all filled up, I wanted to take a look at my chickums. So I noticed that even though I had sold 3 before, I'm now back up to 30. So I've decided to sell 3 more adults from each of these pens, because if the pen is full, then there can't be any reproduction. I'm not 100% sure on the reproduction rate. I've seen anything from like 1-to-1 over 3 months to 1-to-1 every month. I'm not that bold. I'm not going to sell off 15 and see if it doubles back to 30 next month. That feels like it would be a waste of money. But there is one lingering task here, and that is these damn stumps that are preventing me from expanding my chicken coops and chicken farming operation here. And I had just thrown all the wood to the side here to come back later and It is later. Now is the later, because we're going into winter and the other farming operations aren't particularly lucrative right now, and I can't really do any planting of stuff, so I figured now's a great time to play with some forestry. So I'm going to go ahead and lease the trailer here so I have something to pick up all these logs with, as well as the this grinder mulcher. I figure I can use that to get rid of the stumps, and the bushes along the creek there are getting really big, so I thought maybe I'll go trim those down just for aesthetics, since I'll probably have some extra time in the hour that I'm leasing this thing. So those are going to be the two forestry implements that we snag here, and I'm going to go ahead and cut down all the trees that are in the, I don't want to call it open, but the not immediately creek adjacent areas of that field, with the intent of expanding my animal operations there. Maybe a couple more chicken coops. Might get some other stuff along here too at some point, but yeah, that's what's going to happen. So I'm not sure how long this is going to take or what it's going to take, because this looks like a pain. So we're just going to chop down all the trees that I want to get rid of. And I did learn that you can trim off all the small branches to kind of get them out of the way. It should keep the bigger ones that are worth money. And I'm just going to chop this down to pieces that I think will fit on that trailer. And then I'll go get the trailer. And I think I'll just time-lapse out from here for the rest of this forestry operation, because it's going to take a while. And we'll see if I can figure out how to work a crane. So away we go. Okay, so once I had all those trees that I wanted chopped down, I went and grabbed the logging trailer. It's got this little crane arm on here for loading, which was not intuitive at first. I did a little trial and error here, and then went and looked at the keyboard controls, because RTFM, people. It is cool though once you figure it out. You can raise, lower, twist, turn, extend, and grapple and twist the logs on the end of the arm to get them all positioned right. I also had to figure out what else to cut off these logs to make them fit, finding the proper lengths, and having extra things sticking off the side makes it hard to load others into the trailer, but it took a little while. But I think I ended up doing 6 or 7 loads of the trailer to the sawmill, and by the end I was becoming an old pro here at stacking these in. The sawmill isn't that far away, it's just up the road past the animal dealer, and the process of unloading the logs and selling them is pretty trivial. There's no unloading actually involved. You just pull up on this pad here and then hit sell on that action point. I made anywhere from 600 to about 3,000 per load, I think, depending on the weight of the logs. Anything under 200 kilos you can throw into the trailer by hand. The rest you use the crane for. So with all the wood out of the way, I went and grabbed the mulcher thing so I could remove the stumps. And like I said, I decided to remove the bushes along the creek here. This turned out to be a very bad decision. Problem is, this actually is creating new farmland everywhere that I mulch the ground. So on my map, it ended up turning into these long little strips of unplowed, ready to plow, ready to cultivate, ready to plant farmland. Oops. Aesthetically, it kind of messes up the map, and you can repaint all of this. And if you use the paint tool to repaint these spots, they actually are not farmland on the map anymore. The problem is I mulched so close to the creek here that I can't actually repaint all of this. It's out of my property area, and I can't like buy all the way onto the property lines, I don't think. So I think forever it will be mulched available farmland. So whoops, lesson learned. I went around and found all the stumps and used it to grind those out so I can make more room for putting down more animal farming stuff here. I think in the future I'll leave the stumps a little bit taller when I cut them that close to the ground. I thought that would keep them out of the way. It doesn't. You still can't put anything there, but it also makes it very difficult to find. So I had to do all this running around trying to find the damn stumps. Part of that detective work was just by moving a chicken coop around and having it tell me that it overlapped, and then I could find where the stump actually was hidden. So after some more trial and error and just playing around with a large chicken coop here, because kind of like the idea of getting that, but it's a little bit expensive, I decided that I would just go ahead and pop down one more chicken coop between the other two for now, and finish cleaning up the stumps and so forth. And that was it for the forestry work for the day. Got all those trees, wood cleared out, stumps removed, and one new chicken coop added. So of course, a new chicken coop means I gotta go get myself some food to put in it and top off the others. So that's what we'll do next here. So I decided to get myself a quick horsepower upgrade on my small tractor, helping to haul the feed and eggs around here. Also put a weight on the back so it stopped tipping over. Did a little landscaping around the chicken coops to make it easier to access with the tractors, and then grabbed those eggs and brought them over for sale just to see how much I could get out of them. Got a couple $1,000s, which is great. And I was ready to put the small tractor away, and then remembered I need to fertilize the bottom half of this grass field that was planted last month still. So that was the last, technically I think the last task that needed to be done for the day here. So just a quick fertilizer run down the one side of the field. No big deal. Though I did realize I'm starting to get a little bit low on my fertilizer in this spreader. Since I'm using this mostly for my manual fertilizer, I'm using it up pretty quick. But I think that just about does the trick. Oh, yep, there we go. That's blue now. So I decided to go ahead and get a few contracts started using some of the AI farmers to run the tractors while I took a look around at some other things. And this is mostly just a revenue play. I mean, especially in December when there's no other farming that I can really do. I wanted to go patch up some of my grass planting, but I can't plant in December. So, but it did occur to me that maybe I missed something with those grass fields. So I decided to go look at the buy menu again. And there's a section specifically for grassland care. And they got a few of these that say grass rollers and weeders improve the yield of your grass fields. Well, they sure do. So there's the weeder, a small one. There's this roller. It has the same description, but the others have these little tines and stuff on them. It looks like they can actually do seeding. Can't really tell. I think the icon on the bottom shows the seed packet, so I think you can use these for seeding also. But what I figured was, since this is specifically under the grass care area, I was thinking, maybe this is the roller that I need to use. So I'm down for some grass care. Fuck it. So I decided to buy this fancy Maxi Roll 630 green line. Because, you should always roll your grass after you cut it. Yes, another life lesson there. And of course, it took me just a few minutes here to roll over this. Thankfully, we're still in the first month here, right? So I guess, yeah, technically second. It could be growing now, but even when you look at the field, it says status not growing, so I don't think I'm killing the growth by rolling it here. I know that does restart the growth according to the description of this thing, but it did in fact achieve the desired effect. On the map screen, the status has changed from harvested to growing, so this must act a little bit differently than the other roller as far as rolling grass fields. So I'm going to keep this thing and use it for rolling my grass fields after I've cut and collected and baled them and everything. And you can even see it does change the texture. So I think this was a good investment. And I did both this field and the other smaller one next door that was showing the same issue. So with that, I think finishing up this other field, rolling it out, does in fact officially finish our tasks for our owned properties today. I know I said that more than once today, but I didn't realize how to properly roll this field, so that was kind of an outstanding task. But that takes care of our grass fields, our chickens, all the wood and forestry work and the greenhouses, fertilizer, everything we wanted to get done. And I did get a number of contracts in that made some money today, so that's great also. But it's starting to look a little dark. I mean, it's not dark yet. It's only 1:30, but it is December, so there's only a couple more hours left in the day here, and I'm not seeing much in the way of lucrative contracts left. Can't do any more planting because we're out of season. So even though I wanted to do a little grass patching there, I can't do that or even try it. So, yeah, let's just take a look at finances for the day. Did the tractor upgrade, got that roller, which is nice. Bought some more chickens. That's where the expense from the new livestock came from. Built new chicken coops, so some construction costs. Got some vehicle operating costs that go with, I think, the forestry work and the contract work. Another $2,600 from the windmill. Products, I think the $2,900 from products, that's all the produce and eggs, so that's a pretty good. That was 16 grand from that wood total, so that's pretty good. And there we have it. I mean, and we're net down a little over 31,000 for the day, but that's largely from the new chicken coop and vehicle investments, which are all going to pay off in the future anyway, so that's not wasted money. Looks like we're going into snow for January and February, and then rain in March, so that's going to make harvesting interesting once we can do that again. But I guess with no other good contract opportunities, we'll call it a day from here. Thank you very much for joining me for Day 5, December, on Rabid Rabbit Farms. And we'll be back again soon for another wintry Day 6 of January. Have a good day.